Hello everyone and welcome to the Digimon Ghost Game video. This time I'm going to be going over the most recent episode of the series, which is episode 50, Payback. Now this episode had another instance of the Mon of the Week being creepily obsessed with the Human of the Week in the same way that we had in the Ajautaramon episode. So the Mon of the Week is Pucchimon, and this episode focuses around another schoolmate of Kiyoshiro and Hiro called Riku. Now, Riku is a little bit lonely because his friends have just gone away, and this attracts the attention of a lonely Pucchimon who starts doing favours and helping Riku out in social situations. However, each time Pucchimon wants the exact in return, he won't accept just like, oh, I'll buy you some extra chocolate in return as like a thanks. He wants the exact same thing, or something that's exact enough. When Riku can't provide for each of this bit of payback, Pucchimon starts counting each instance of this happening. And then, at some point, he actually evolves. Now, this evolution was mentioned in the synopsis a few weeks ago in the episode guide listing, so that's why I'm kind of mentioning in the thumbnail and mentioning it in the title. Otherwise I probably wouldn't, or try not to, as many people have tried to tell me in the comments below about how to avoid spoilers better. But I'm not counting this one because it was said in the synopsis many weeks ago. So if you weren't aware of that, my apologies. But in any case, the evolution itself, or the what it evolves to, is actually a surprise. Now, when I originally read the synopsis, I thought that it would just be Pucchimon evolving to the green variant of Pucchimon, so I sort of kind of dampened my expectations for that. However, I was actually really surprised when Pucchimon actually evolved to MEICRACKMON. This was surprising. I would never have predicted that to happen as an evolution. As far as I'm aware, Pucchimon and MEICRACKMON don't have anything to do with each other than both being kind of related to Digimon Adventure, with Pucchimon being the armor form of Wormmon, and MEICRACKMON obviously being Meicoomon from Digimon Adventure Tri. But that's basically the only connection that these characters have. So in any case, we have Pucchimon evolving into MEICRACKMON. Huge surprise. I do like when Digimon surprise me with the evolutions. I'm a big fan of when Digimon do evolutions that are surprising, because evolutions in this franchise haven't always been completely linear, especially in the virtual pets, when, for example, on the version 2, we have Gammamon evolve into Angemon. They're not always super linear, they don't have to always follow some sort of theme when they're evolving. So I don't mind this evolution. It's kind of creepy as well. I'm glad they went with a really creepy form rather than just changing it to be the green variant of Pucchimon. I'm glad that it was an actual evolution to a Digimon rather than just like, oh, he changed colours, I guess. But in any case, that's what happens. So MEICRACKMON continues to kind of try to help Riku out, but Riku starts to get more and more creeped out by MEICRACKMON's affections and intentions, especially when he can't actually repay MEICRACKMON in the same way that she wants. For example, she makes him a freshly squeezed juice with an apple and then wants immediate repayment for this. So Riku goes to the vending machine and gets her a can of apple juice, which she says isn't the same because she wants the exact same thing. Riku then explains to her that because he's a human and she's a Digimon, they're different, so they can't always provide the same sort of thing. MEICRACKMON takes this as a reason to start making Riku look more like MEICRACKMON by making him sharpen his fingernails so he can have claws like her, and pulling on the ears so Riku can have ears like her. So it gets kind of creepy real fast. Riku clearly doesn't like this, because who honestly would, and leaves, which attracts the attention of Kiyoshiro and Hiro, who end up going to save Riku, and then explaining to MEICRACKMON, again, that Digimon and humans are different, so they can have different sort of things, but that doesn't mean they can't be friends. However, MEICRACKMON still gets offended by this, and ends up telling Riku that she hates him, and they doesn't want to be friends with him anymore, and then leaves. And just a quick bit to edit in when I was sort of compiling my thoughts, and later on when I was discussing them on the podcast recording for this week's episode, I did come up with a few points that I didn't end up mentioning in my super quick video, which is the one that you're watching at the moment. And that's the fact that I actually did like parts of the episode, especially the portrayal of Pucchimon being basically just a bad friend, and a fairly realistic bad friend as well. Despite the fact that there are Digimon in this episode, the fact that Pucchimon views favours and helping out a friend as a transaction rather than just something that you do because you're a good friend is very realistic and did hit home for me, because I have had friends who want to help but only so they can get something out of it. So they do something and they're like, okay, what are you going to do for me in return? And if you thank them in your own way, like how Riku did in this episode, he said, hey, have some chocolates. I've had friends who say, that's not enough. This is what I did for you. What are you going to do to make up to it? You need to make up to me somehow because I helped you in this way. And that's something I realized in the podcast. That's not something I really addressed in my actual video, which is, as I said, the one you're watching now. Which makes this episode rather emotional, and something that I didn't think of until I was formulating my notes for the podcast. So I just thought it would be good for me to just quickly interject my own thoughts of something that I realized after doing this video. Because it's an important fact, it's an important thing, and I'm wondering if, because this is a kids show, if this will help out any kids realizing that they have friends who may not be the best friends that they could possibly have. Which, yeah, as I said, this is a human fear, and this is, except for the fact that there are Digimon in this episode, it is something that's realistic. This is something that humans can do. This is what humans do. There's a lot of humans who are like this, where they will help you, but only for their own benefit. They won't do something out of the goodness of their heart. They'll just do it for themselves. And that's something that Pucchimon was doing in this episode, and I think why I may have been more negative about this is because I was sad. This episode made me feel something. And sometimes when a show makes me feel something, I may say, oh, I don't like that feeling, so that was bad. But then, and the same sort of thing happened to the Ajaitaramon episode, after I thought about it a bit, I realised, oh no, the writers wanted me to feel that way. I felt bad because I was sympathetic to the character. And I was sympathetic to Riku because I've had friends that have treated me like that in the past, where they don't help you to help you, they help you to either have leverage over you or because they want something over it. And that's not a good friend. And I really actually appreciated how they portrayed that bad friend type in this episode. And I guess those are my additional thoughts, and on to the rest of my thoughts in this video. Enjoy. You know, I should probably formulate my thoughts better, because about 5 seconds after I finished that last recording, I was like, oh no, I have another thought. So my last and hopefully final thought before I can actually let you get on to the rest of this video is that I did appreciate how the end of the episode showed that sometimes you can't just talk out your problems. You can't just, convince someone that they're in the wrong. You can't just say, hey, that's not how you act, and have the person, or in this case Digimon, go, oh, okay, my bad, I'll be good now. Sometimes characters can't just improve like that, and I do appreciate that the show finally said, hey, look, here's a character who is not going to be convinced, otherwise may pretend that they're okay with it, and then just go, nah, I'm awful. And I do appreciate that, and Ghost Game has done that a few times, but it's done it. I felt like it was done more in a better way in this episode. And I think those are my thoughts. So I guess hopefully I'll put you on to the video that I recorded hours ago now, instead of just me from 5 seconds later with headphones on, because I'm editing. And yeah, so enjoy the rest of the video, and hopefully I won't have any more future thoughts for the recording from hours ago. So enjoy. So we have another instance of a Digimon that doesn't die, doesn't get befriended, and just kind of leaves at the end of the episode to go be evil or go be creepy somewhere else. In the same way that we have Lesmon or Zasamon, for example, who were Monster of the Week, who didn't get reformed at the end of the episode, didn't get befriended and didn't get murderized, or sent back to the digital world, I guess, which is another option. So then MEICRACKMON is at large for a future episode, which brings me to my next point, is that I believe we're going to be going into more of a climax. And I know whenever I say that, it ends badly, but when I say this, I don't mean ending in the next few weeks. I'm saying that it's going to start showing plot-related things happening in this series. Maybe not for an ending the next few months, but I definitely feel like it's going to be going somewhere in terms of plot. In one way, I know that, or I have a feeling that Gammamon will be reaching his megaform soon, on the basis that December's issue of Psycho Jump, which is coming out in early December, will have a promo card with Gammamon's megaform, which is Cirrusmon, who we previously knew about from the Vital Bracelet BE information. So there's that thing that we do have that promo card coming out in early December, so we're now in like early November, so in about a month I'm expecting us to have a megaform of Gammamon, which has to have some form of plot to go along with it, or at least I'm expecting it to. I'm hoping it does. Maybe not a huge amount of plot because it's just Ghost Game, and Ghost Game is episodic with just slight hints of plot now and then, but I'm expecting another bit of plot, maybe something bigger than we've previously had. I'm not expecting this in the next week because, one, we saw the preview for next week's episode, and it's pretty vague. Anything could happen, but I don't feel like that looks like it's going to be a plot-heavy episode. It looks like it's going to be a weird, horror episode with some ghosts, which looks cool. We're doing the actual ghosts finally in Ghost Game, but I don't feel like we're going to be doing much plot in that episode, and I don't feel like we're going to be doing any evolutions, unless that's what they want us to think, which could be entirely possible. We didn't get many shots of Gammamon in the preview, for example, but that could very well be on purpose. They could be kind of just making us think something else. It wouldn't be the first time that Ghost Game has tried to mislead our thoughts. So yes, I'm expecting us to have Cirrusmon by the end of the year. I don't know why, but I feel like that would be a good Christmas episode. I'm not sure if it's because he looks vaguely Christmassy, and by vaguely Christmassy I mean he has some white and red. He could look vaguely like Father Christmas. I don't know, it could just be me. Let me know in the comments if I've just gone crazy, if the heat is finally getting to me, or if he's just vaguely Father Christmassy. And I feel like that'd be a good Christmas episode, because we didn't get one last year, mainly because the episode came out the day after Christmas. And I don't know, I feel like I feel like it could be a Christmas episode, so maybe by Christmas we get a Cirrus Gammamon. So that could be exciting, a new evolution for Gammamon, and we finally get some megaforms, and hopefully maybe a little bit of plot as a Christmas treat. But in any case, those are my thoughts and predictions in relation to Ghost Game for this week. Let me know your thoughts, predictions, and tell me I'm crazy in the comments below. Like this video if you think I'm crazy or whatever, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I have covered a lot of Digimon videos, and if you like this video, chances are you'll probably like my other videos where I also talk about Digimon. Go figure, it's a Digimon channel. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I know I already said that, but just as a reminder. And of course, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!